On today's episode, we are looking at the finances of a 30-year-old lady. She works as an insurance broker and has a 2-year-old child. She says she got into a lot of debt for her ex-boyfriend and he later left her for another woman. Now she's a single mother in a lot of debt and wants to get her finances back on track. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Itumeleng. I'm a qualified management accountant. And on this channel, I help ordinary people like you learn how to start saving money, get out of debt, invest, and ultimately build wealth. If that is something you're interested in, please do subscribe and become a part of our growing rich family. Now let us get into the finances of our sister, starting with her monthly income. Her monthly net income as an insurance broker is 15,000 rands. And she says this 15,000 rands is the most that she's gotten. And she explained how her income works. And it was the first time I hear of such a way of getting paid. She says they start you with a basic salary at the beginning of the month, and hers is 30,000 rands. And from this 30,000 rands, if other people, sell more insurance than you and they need to get bonuses, they're going to subtract from your income. The only way to make sure that you get that 30,000 rands or more is to sell more. And if you don't reach your targets, then you're going to lose out on your own salary. And I thought that is some twisted way of getting paid. Is that how you guys get paid in insurance? Is that why you guys call us nonstop? Because you're desperate to protect just your basic salary before we even get to the bonuses and stuff. So she said, this way of getting paid is really not sustainable for her, especially because she's new to insurance. She says it's been really hard for her to adjust and earn more. Hence, 15,000 is the most that she's gotten. She actually says in December, she only took home 11,000 rands. So that is the salary that she has. And she says she's currently applying for other jobs because she just does not like how unsustainable insurance is for her, especially because it's not a sector that she ever sees herself thriving in. So that is her income. Quite unfortunate that, it works like that. Now let us look at her savings and investments as well as debt balances. Savings 000. Okay, that's bad. Debt balances, Capitec loan 45,000. Okay, what was the Capitec loan for? She says, I was in a relationship with the father of my child, the 2-year-old, and we were in love. Everything was going well. And then his car got into an accident and he did not have an insurance. And I decided to take out the loan to fix his car. And the original loan amount was 60,000 rands. The 45,000 is just the current balance. Initially, it was 60,000 rands. Wait. Your baby's father got into an accident. His car is damaged and he needs it to be fixed. You are the one that takes out a 60,000 rands loan. Why not him? Was he not working? How did he get a car to begin with? She says, no, he was working, he was working, but we were in a relationship. We were partners. So I offered, I thought since, I had a better credit score, I should offer, to get a loan for him. And then we fixed the car. We did manage to fix the car and he got into the car, drove off and left me for another woman. So, ma'am, if someone does not want to take out a loan for themselves, they can't or they won't, that should be your red flag that, I'm also not going to do it, But like a good wifey material, you decided to take a loan for him and it didn't take him long, because that's just what he was there for. He was there to swindle you. She said, that's exactly the word. I've been swindled. It didn't take this man long after the car was fixed, to get into the car and get out of your life. She said, ma'am, the things we do for love, like I was so in love. And another thing was, we had plans for the car. He said he was going to put it up on Uber. So I really thought if I take out a loan for him and I show him that, I'm a partner in this, then he's going to, get successful on the Uber business and he's going to take care of me. And that's where her problem is. That's where she went wrong. This mentality, the old mentality of thinking that you need to get a loan for a man, empower him so that, he makes money and then he takes care of you. That's such a long route. If you want money, you want to be taken care of, you just get a loan for yourself, start a business for yourself, and then you have money and then you give money to yourself and you take care of yourself. This thing of thinking that you need to empower a man to empower you, you can just empower yourself. Look at us now. We have a 45,000 debt for a loan that did not benefit us, for a car that left us. Wonga 9,000 rands, as well as Capfin 9,000 rands. So those two loans I had to take out because we were staying in an apartment and the lease was in my name. Again, why was the lease in your name? She says, no, he said, since I have a better credit score, I should get the rental unit in my name and then he's going to help me pay. And, to be fair, he did pay for like 3 months before he started acting up. Of course, he's going to pay for some time. Swindlers don't just, start by showing you that they are not going to help. He has to set a little record of being a responsible man. And then, you are head over heels. You feel like this man can really step up and you take out loans. So she says Wonga as well as Capfin was because, with the lease being in her name and now the boyfriend leaving her for another woman, it got too much for her. She couldn't afford it anymore. So she had to terminate the lease prematurely and there were penalties there. So she had to take out the Wonga loan was for the penalties, and then the Capfin loan was for moving. She had to move. She was really far away from home, for this man, and now she had to move back home. She's currently staying at home. So this man has cost her a lot. This man has cost us more than just, the loan that it took to fix his car. And then gym, 2,000 rands. She says, yes, I had a gym near our apartment. And then this is the penalties for terminating as well. And rain was also our Wi-Fi. I terminated it. The Wi-Fi was also in her name. She says the Wi-Fi is penalties as well. And the gym as well as the Wi-Fi, they are saying that she needs to come back in person to settle them. With the Wi-Fi, she needs to hand over the router. And then with the gym, they say they need to see her in person. I don't know why. And she says these amounts were actually less than 2,000 when she left, but they've been gaining interest because she hasn't been able to go back. She says she's been in a bad state and just was unable to do anything. But it's been 6 months now and she's going to go, sort out the gym, sort out the rain, and then make payment arrangements so that they stop accumulating interest. Truett's 10,000 rands. She was probably buying him jeans. Yeah. Wife material. Truett's 10,000 rands. In total, her debt balance is 77,000 rands. And all of that, is for the swindler. All this debt is just attached to the runaway boyfriend. And, it's a bad thing that happened. It's really unfortunate. But, we learn and we move on. So what we are going to do here now is just, snowball our debt, starting with the Wi-Fi as well as gym as our smallest debt. And then we finish off with the Capitec loan. It's not a lot of debt. The only upsetting thing is that all of it was for nothing. Well, it was for love. You guys really fall in love in mysterious ways, huh? But okay, let's debt snowball this and then, continue to make minimum payments after we've made arrangements with the gym and rain. We make minimum payments on all our debt and then we pour in a little extra towards rain. After rain is finished, a little extra towards gym. And then ultimately we need to pay off this debt completely, because another thing, other than it just taking away from your income, it continues to be a trigger. Every single time you get a debit order, you remember the swindler. So you can never truly move on, because every single month he continues to swindle you all over again. Now let us look at her monthly expenses. Home, 1,500 rands. She says she went back home and she stays with her grandmother. So she contributes 1,500 rands towards groceries and other things. Church offering, 200 rands. Car insurance, 700 rands. So she has a car of her own. She says while she was dating the swindler, she bought a second-hand car, and it's really bad. It's not reliable. It's giving her problems. And the irony is she took out a 60,000 rand loan for a man to fix his car so that his car can be better. Why don't you deserve a nice car, but he does on your money? Huh? Petrol, 2,000 rands. Tracker, 200 rands. DSTV, 500 rands. Daycare, 1,000 rands. The swindler is not paying child support. Yeah, no, this swindler is really serious about his business. I know currently she's still healing, it's still new, but it's something to consider. Just get him to pay child support. It's the least he can do. It's the least recoupment we can do, because raising a child really costs a lot of money. I understand she might not want to deal with him again, but we are not trying to deal with him. We are trying to make him pay, like pay for something for once in your life. Funeral cover, 500 rands. At least she has that. No life cover currently, but at least for now we have the funeral cover, and she can always get a life cover quickly on her banking app. Life cover for someone her age is not going to cost that much, just for the sake of her daughter, because you are all she's got. It's not like she can exactly rely on the swindler. And then Capitec loan for the swindler is 1,500 rands. Wonga, 2,000 rands. Capfin, 900 rands. Truets for his jeans, 1,000 rands. Baby supplies, 1,500 rands. In total, her monthly expenses average around 13,500 rands. You will see that the Wi-Fi debt as well as gym are not here. That's because, she hasn't worked them out yet, but now she has to go back, do what they say, come physically if that's what's required, and then make payment arrangements. Then she's going to be able to make those payments and ultimately pay them off. So remember, I told you in December she got only 11,000 rands and her expenses are around 13,500 rands. So she says she skipped the Wonga debit order as well as the Capfin. So that 2,900 rand she did not pay in December because she missed the payments because, of her income. So she was saying, I don't know what's going to happen at this point. Are they going to hand me over to the lawyers? She's cute. They don't just hand you over to the lawyers, that quickly. If that was the case, they would have taken the swindler, long ago. But what should happen is, especially with her income being so inconsistent, with the lowest salary you've gotten being 11,000 rands, I think 11,000 rands needs to start being our benchmark just for now, just because it's the lowest we've gotten. That shows us that, we can get 11,000 on a bad month. So you've already missed the Wonga payment and the CapFin payment. What you do is you don't sit and wait for them to hand you over to the lawyers. You make the call, you make the initiative, and you contact them and you explain your situation. You can even throw in the swindler story in there to explain, why your finances are not in a good place. Let the swindler be useful for something. Let him, get us out of the mess he's put us in. He could do a lot to pay us back. But the point is, creditors are more understanding than we give them credit for. So explain to them that, this is what happened to me and this is what is currently happening with my income. Show them the pay slip for December if possible, if they need backup to really see that you are struggling. They already have bounced debit orders to show that you're really struggling. And then from there, we work out, you renegotiate new payment terms. They might restructure your loans in a way that increases your term and ultimately your interest a little bit, but it's fine as long as we get to a point where you can be able to make minimum payments if it happens that you continue to get this 11,000 for some time. And if you get more than 11,000, then you can rectify, the interest and the term by just paying extra into these loans. But what we are not going to do is sit around and let them continue to accumulate more interest and then damage your credit record. Because remember, at this point, she hasn't even gotten to a point where she has gotten something on credit for herself. Her car is failing. She might need to, in the near future, when she's done with all the debts, to ultimately get a car for herself. So she needs to make sure that she's good with Wonga and CapFin. Ask them to reduce your payments. They will be more than happy to work out a new payment plan and get a little bit of money from you, as opposed to your debit orders bouncing and then they get nothing. So that's what she's going to do with the loans, so that when she includes the gym payment as well as the Wi-Fi payments, her expenses cannot exceed that 11,000 rands threshold. Now, with the 11,000 rands, yes, she said she's applying for jobs because, this job is not sustainable with the way that they have structured her payments. But, we need to really find a way to earn more while we are still in this insurance thing. And she said, I agree, because in December, the same month that I went home with 11,000 rands, one of my colleagues went home with 400,000 rands. And for me, it's because of, this ex-boyfriend thing. My head has not really been in the game. So I've been really struggling. I said, you know what? If then we continue to lose money because of this man, then he will swindle you until the day you die. Go to therapy if you have to find tools to cope with your situation, but we cannot continue to earn 11,000 rands when there's a 400 rands earning potential. And, she said, yeah, you're right. I haven't been to therapy in a long time. I haven't even thought about therapy when I was going through all this. And, it's been really tough. And now she started getting emotional and she even cried. I didn't cry with her because on the day that we had the consultation, my crypto investments were up. But it's sad. I really do feel for her. It's a terrible thing because here you are thinking you found the man of your dreams. You have a child. You think he's going to marry you. You think if you take out a loan for him, he's going to realize that you are in this and, he's going to be indebted to you in some way and, repaid in big ways. But some things are just scams. And that's all we can take away from it. Now we lick our wounds, we go to therapy and we put it behind us and we get our money. I said to her, the reason you're taking home 11,000 and someone else is taking home 400,000, that's because they're doing something that you're not aware of. Yes, sure, you've only been in insurance for around 6 months, but you see people that are making 400,000 rands. Look at them, study them and see what are they doing. You don't even have to get paid 400,000 rands, but we have seen 11,000 rands is not going to fly. At least 40,000 rands, at least 20,000 rands. Look at the people that have the results that you want and mimic that and copy that and learn from them, and start studying other people that are in insurance, that are getting paid the amount of money that you'd like. And I shared with her one of my favorite quotes. I said, write this down. Put in so much work that it becomes unreasonable for you not to succeed. She said, oh, I like that. That's good. I said, I know. It's really good. So this is for you too. Put in so much work that it becomes unreasonable for you not to succeed. A lot of times we are not getting out the maximum money that we can get. We are not getting the best results because we just haven't put in the work. Put in so much work that even your colleagues, everyone around you already knows that in the top performers, in the people that are going to get over 100,000 rands, you are there because your work speaks for itself, because you work so hard. Becoming successful, getting paid a big bonus is inevitable, and currently that is the one thing that she has control over, her earning potential. She was so stuck on, I need to find another job and I need to find it fast because I just cannot deal with this. That's fine. You can find another job, but we are not going to live here without trying. And especially in this Mkhwanazi economy, it can take some time before you land that other job. So while we are in this insurance thing with their weird payment ways, we are going to do everything that we can to also be at the top, and we quickly pay off the loans so that we can finally be rid of the swindler. You don't have to be reminded of him every single time you have to make payments towards these debts. Granted, you have a baby with him, but that's a different one, I think. And when the time is right and you're in therapy and you're doing well, then you can decide if you want to take him to maintenance court and get him to help you with your child. Then from there, when your big insurance money starts rolling in, remember, stop giving money to men. Stop giving money to boyfriends. Stop trying to get your boyfriend to be a rich man. Just get your money, come back, we start investing it, we start setting up education funds for your kid, and you become the rich man that you were desperately trying to build. So that is my 2 cents on Our Lady. She said, I need to make a video on this. She said, you have to tell the story because I want people to see that these things really happen. I know it happens to a lot of people, but a lot of us are hiding. I have been hiding. I have been in shame for about 6 months. And, the neighbors are gossiping about me. Everyone is laughing at me, for being back in the township, for my baby's father leaving me for another girl. So this is also me taking back my power, taking back my voice and owning my story so that, it reminds me to not repeat the same mistake again. You better not. It's that cannot happen again. This is the very first and last time you'll ever get swindled. And again, this is on YouTube. Next time you're tempted to take out loans for a person, remember this. And it does not have to be just a boyfriend, because sometimes you think, oh, I've done it for a boyfriend, I'm never gonna do it for a boyfriend again. And then you do it for friends, and then you do it for family members. It's the same thing. You're still going to be swindled, and they're going to run away and leave you in this debt. So focus on yourself instead of trying to chase a rich man and trying to make a man rich. Like I said, be the rich woman. It's much nicer that way anyway. And then a rich man just becomes a bonus. Anyway, when you are a rich woman, guess what? You attract a rich man. So that is all I had. I would like to hear your swindled stories in the comments. Please, in the spirit that our sister has started, please share your swindled story. What did your swindler do? Did your swindler also leave you with a child? And if maybe you were at the verge of being swindled, what did you do to avoid it? What were the signs that someone was about to swindle you? If you have any other words of encouragement for our sister, if you have any advice on her finances, please let her know in the comments. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, I hope you have a rich day.